Hi, I'm Cody.
And I'm Brandon.
Welcome to Failure to Log Out, where we discuss different anime, video games, etc.
Where we break down different episodes of the anime or video games to help people fall in love with the shows and video games like we did.
If that sounds good to you, then come on, let's log in. Alright, so this week we watched episode 4 of Super HxEros, which I think that's the fucking way it's pronounced. I think we keep saying it wrong. Super HxEros. I know that's how it comes up, like whenever you're like going to watch it. But every time they say their name in the show, it's Super HxEros. So that's what I'm gonna start referring to this as.
Okay, I just thought it was Superhero X.
Yeah, it's the way it's spelled. The H is silent. I don't know.
How the hell is the H silent?
I don't know, but they never call themselves superheroes. They always say, "Oh, it's the Super HxEros."
Oh.
Anyway, so we watched episode 4, and episode 4 is called Snow White and the Color of the Sky. And what was your prediction last week? Do you remember?
Well, I thought it was gonna be just all about the gray hair girl.
And I thought it was gonna all be about purple hair girl, and we were kind of both right.
It's like the first part is about the purple hair girl. Well, some of it. Like, they don't get into detail like the other one did.
No, we don't really get her backstory. We just get, like, her normal everyday life.
Yeah. And then, same with, we got a little, I guess, sneak peek of the girl with the gray hair. Not too much.
We got to find out what the source of her age energy is.
Yeah.
Alright, so now that we kind of give you a little snippet of what this episode is about, let's dive into the actual rewatching of it, or I guess the actual watching of it.
Yeah.
So it opens up with 3 bugs discussing the plan to eliminate the HxEros, like steal their age energy. They're like kneeling down talking to someone.
Yeah, as what they refer to her as the queen.
The queen, yeah. But something that I wrote down as a note was, did you notice that the queen looks very human?
Yeah, well,
like very human.
As each episode, like the first episode, they're like more bug-like.
Yeah.
Now, episode 4, like even like the villains in this one are kind of almost human-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were. They were, like, very humanoid. I mean, the other ones did, too. They were humanoid. But now, I mean, like, it's less and less of the,
like, bugs.
Like, the bug coverings and shit like that. Which kind of makes me wonder, like, is there, like, a ranking system? Like, they steal so much age energy and they start turning human?
That's what I'm thinking, because my prediction going forward is, I think, like the top ranked people, they're the most, I guess, strongest. So I'm thinking they're getting a lot of H energy throughout the world, and then they're like adapting. Change, like almost like changing their skin almost to make it like so you won't notice who's who.
So they're gonna go incognito and
yeah.
All right, I get that. Yeah, my prediction is they're stealing the H energy and they're feeding it back to the queen. That's why the queen looks so human. Because she's, it's kind of just like a regular beehive, like all the offerings and stuff.
Yeah.
But so that happened. That was the beginning, and then we get the anime intro. And the next note that I wrote down was they call the purple-haired girl white. Like it seems like each one of them has a color, and they refer to her as white. And I don't know what the reasoning is there. I mean, nobody else's color has been brought up yet. But the reason that they call it, that's what the Keishus are calling her, because it's that dream sequence.
You say white.
Yeah.
I think it's if you watch the show, if you guys are watching the show, when they do the H energy, it's a different color.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you noticed it, but, like, the guy is, like, fire.
Yeah.
So red. And then, like, I don't know, one's a different color that we see later on.
I I guess from the ones that we've seen so far, there's only 2 color-wise. Because we'll talk about the purple Mahame, the purple-haired girl. Wow. We'll talk about her power because you only see like a
Just
real quick glimpse of an actual power.
Yeah.
But yeah, the opening with the girls, it's a dream sequence of the purple-haired girl. She's getting tortured.
No. I don't. Is it really a dream? I know she's dreaming, but
it's a weird.
Cause I don't know if the thing is like in her head.
I have a feeling like her main power, because she talks about how later on, like, it comes up with what her power is to be in touch with H energy. I got a feeling like she's kind of a telepath in a way. That's why, because later on, spoiler, even though we're gonna talk about it anyway, but later on, she even says like, this is the same dialogue that I heard before. So yeah, it has that torture scene where her clothes are ripped and she's in like this.
It's not really ripped, like
it's like acidly melted away.
Yeah.
But
from this tentacle.
No, that's.
No, it's like a slug thing where it wrapped around the tentacle, and they had that. She had that thing that came out, and all that acid came out.
Oh, okay, yeah. So she wakes up and she is woken up by the dog licking her.
The perverted
dog, which
yes.
I'm pretty sure they call the dog Roomba, which makes sense because it's going around licking everything, and it's so shaggy it looks like some kind of like a mop or a sweeper or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's laying in bed. She's in a white shirt. Her shirt's unbuttoned, and the dog is licking her stomach because she's all sweaty because of her dream. And she pretty much like orgasms again, and it's like, please quit licking me. Ah! Then we cut to she's going to school, and she's just walking along, and this girl with blue hair comes up and like swooshes her hand up the skirt, and the wind gust goes and blows up to where you see Mahime, the purple-haired girl. You see her panties.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Ah, relax. We're just all girls here."
See, and the thing with this, like, this dialogue is from the big, like, I'm gonna go back to the beginning and where the acid thing is, and she's like, ah. Now everything that she touches, like, kind of gives like an orgasm.
Yeah.
So I thought the dream kind of affected.
It very well could have been. It seems like her power is really just to be in tune of like the H energy around her.
Yeah.
But with the blue-haired girl, her name is Chihua?
I think so.
Something like that. I was trying to write it down because, you know, in most animes, you can always tell when, like, somebody's a basic side character, or, like, just a background character, or who's somebody who is, like, a part of the story. Just because of the level of detail they go into drawing the character.
I think this blue-haired girl is a girl to watch in the future episodes because it just gives subtle hints of something.
Yeah. I think so too. I got that vibe. But of course, the blue-haired girl gropes the purple-haired girl.
Yes.
Because of her tits. And I gotta ask, like, I know it's a common thing, but everybody seems to grope the bigger-chested girls in this show.
Well, wouldn't you?
Well, that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, it seems like it's, I don't know, like, in this day and age, or, I mean, not even this day and age, but, you know, just, you don't go up and just randomly start groping someone.
Yes, but they seem to know each other, so...
That doesn't make it okay.
Because if you go back a couple episodes, that one girl, when they were trying on panties and they were going on a date, like, she was getting ready for a date, and there was a girl.
Yeah.
What if everyone's like...
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying, it's odd. So the next thing we get, we caught a Redo, and he's fighting, like, a mushroom tentacle thing on the ground.
Yeah.
And,
he thinks he cornered it, and then she was like, you think you had me cornered, but guess again.
Yeah, and then I had to write it down just because of the line, I'm a grower, not a shower. And then, it shows, it just shows him, like, I think it's, like, a real quick, like, glimpse of him, and then it cuts back to the purple-haired girl, and she's at school, and
she's still with that blue hair girl. They've just been talking basically all day. It seems like.
And they're in like I don't know, like a dance jazzercise thing in like the gym.
Yeah.
Like they're just in like their gym clothes, like dancing, and she falls down, and they're like, "Oh well, she's super klutzy, yeah." And then as she's falling, she's like, "It's just because I'm so top heavy." But then it cuts to they're having like a conversation up on the roof.
Yeah, where in the heck kind of school do they go to? All this fancy things, because I never went to school like this.
And it's like they have a huge gymnasium, and they're up on the roof that overlooks like a courtyard. This is like the third story, and
yeah, they have like little lawn chairs where they can relax. And, like I never went to school like that.
But yeah, they're just sitting there and they're talking, and Chihua is like saying like how amazing that she thinks the purple haired girl is. Like she has a nice rack, nice chair, childbearing legs or hips,
and she even eats her food sexy.
She makes everything sexy, and then she says, Mahame, the purple haired girl, says, "So the only thing that's good about me is my looks," and she says, "I forgot to say how like genuinely thoughtful you are," or something like that.
Well, there's a line that she says. It says there's more to you than that. That will come later in the episode that I noticed.
Okay. Alright, so then we cut back to, there's like an alarm that goes off.
Yeah.
And, like, something's going on, and then she's down in the courtyard now, and
all the students are running.
And, yeah, they run into, it's that, like, mushroom tentacle thing from before, and now it's, like, a full-grown woman wrapped around in tentacles and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just very, very interesting, the way those tentacles wrapped around.
Yeah, well, they wrap around her, but they also drain your H energy, is what it
would turn people into tentacles and stuff like that.
Which we find out because, like, she's wrapped around the tentacles.
Yeah, they
fighting.
Yeah, they start to fight, and then,
she rips one of the tentacles, like, apart.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then it starts talking, and it's, like, moving in her shirt. And then
Redo pops up, and...
He's a tentacle.
Yeah, he's a tentacle, and he even says, he's like, I woke up and I was a tentacle, or I was a snake with a calic, or something like that. And then he crawls onto her shoulders, and Mahame explains that she can change people, or the monster explains that she can change people into tentacles and absorb H energy,
which can multiply.
which she calls it tentacle warfare against humanity. Which made me laugh just because, chemical warfare. So then we get to see Mahame's talent, is what she calls it, and she does, like, this air blast of, like, H energy, and she, like, shouts and screams. And
that's why it's on her neck.
Yeah.
Because she shouts it, and it echoes, and it attacks the enemy.
Yeah, and then, so her clothes disappear, she beats the enemy, and Redo pops back into himself, but remember, he is on her shoulder, so now he's naked on her back.
And then they fall.
And
then all of a sudden there's other naked women.
Well, yeah, but yeah, like, you notice, like, when they fall, even though he's on her back, and the way it shows them fall, she's falling first and he's falling on top of her. When they land, though, he is underneath her.
With grabbing boob.
Yeah.
It must be, I guess, like, little side move, like, hey, let me gain some H energy here.
Yeah. So then it pops, like, it kind of pans out, and then you see, like, all the other tentacles turned into girls, too,
and here's what I'm talking about. It even pans out even further, and shows a blue-haired girl in the window saying, I know you had it in you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking she knew about her powers and everything. So is she gonna be either the next add-on to the HxEros, or is she a villain disguised as a friend?
Yeah, my suspicion is she might be the queen.
Well, Yeah.
But then again, who knows? I mean, it's hard to tell because this character was just introduced. But like you said, there are subtle things that she has said that's kind of like, what you know more than what you're letting on.
Yeah.
So then the next thing that we cut to is Kirara talking to Redo. Redo's laying on a couch, and Kirara walks up, and she's just standing there talking. And Redo's looking on his cell phone, and he hears her start talking to him, and he just kind of looks up, he's like, huh? And she's standing above him, and you were greeted with a panty shot during her entire dialogue. Like, it slow pans all the way across, and while she is talking, all you're staring at is the underwear.
And it gets, if you notice, it gets closer and closer and closer to the panties.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's supposed to be, like, his eyesight, like, what he's doing and what he, like, when it's zooming in, he's focusing. He's like, yeah. I don't remember what she's saying. Oh, they're talking about the night before, about in his room, and, like, the events that happened, and she'd appreciate if he didn't tell anybody, and he's like, yeah, but you might want to be conscious of, like, where you're standing. And she's like, you perv! And, like, jumps back, and at that point, I'm like, bitch, like, that was on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about these harems, man. Like, they do this stuff without thinking, and then he's just like, hey, you might want to watch where you're standing. And she's like, you're a perv. Like, I get she's embarrassed, but I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
And then I think after that, it's the purple hair, the silver hair, and the blonde hair just talking. I guess in the kitchen part. I think that's the kitchen.
Yeah, they're in like the kitchen. Silver hair walks in, and Kirara, the silver haired girl, her name is Sora. Kirara.
Oh no! Before that, they're in the living room after the whole underwear scene, and the silver haired girl just walks up randomly and just grabs her boob and goes, I remember these. Yeah. And then just walks away. Like. Yeah. No.
She says, I found my ex heroin or something like that.
And then just walks away. Like, she walks in, says that, and then just walks right back out.
Yeah, do you notice the way that they did the animation? Like, they kind of made it like a dungeon crawler RPG. She comes over gross, and it's like, tick, 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 tick. Like, just the way it's like those old spacings. So, after that, we see an eggplant being cut in half. Momozoto walks in, says hi to everybody. And if you remember, she's the one with the soy milk in the bathtub. Yeah. So she opens up the fridge, and she grabs out a tiny little container of soy milk and says, we can all celebrate with a drink, or something like that. And I gotta laugh because the one girl, I think it's Mahame, goes, how many of those did you buy? Yeah. And then there's rustling around, and
I can't remember who squeezes it.
I think Momozoto squeezes it because Kirara and her like wrestling around to get it away from her. Oh yeah, because Kirara says something. Momozoto comes over and says, "We don't have boobs like you," and runs over and starts groping her chest. And as they're wrestling, Momozoto squeezes the soy milk and it shoots onto Mahame's. It's like her apron from when she's cutting, and it gets all down to the bottom, and then. Ta-da! The dog shows up, comes running in with big stars in his eyes, jumps up, starts licking the milk, licking her lower region, and she moans out again, and like she has an orgasm. But what cracked me up was Momozoto grabbed her cell phone to film it, and he's like, come on, Roomba, get it. She's egging on the dog. Oh man, I got a good laugh out of that.
And then it comes to an alarm. Going off?
Not yet.
Oh, no?
Nope, not yet. Kirara walks upstairs because she wants to go talk to Sora, and when she walks up in the hallway, that's when she finds that...
Yeah, because before, all you see her with the silver hair girl is with a book. She never lets go of this book. And then, like, the blonde hair girl comes up, I guess, to console
I think she's
her.
going up to, like, apologize to her or try to talk about things. And,
Her book's wide open.
Yeah, she comes across Sora's notebook laying there wide open, and it's just like nude female drawings.
Yeah.
And then she picks it up. She's like, "What's this?" Oh, and then that's Sora shows up and she grabs it, turns around, and she goes, "You saw it, didn't you?" And at that moment, like all animes ask that question, and like I'm always like, "Yeah, no shit, you left it flat out open in the middle of the hallway." And then that's when she says the only way to make things right is if she. Because since she saw her source of H energy, she now needs to have blackmail photos of Kirara naked.
Well, she said, "You saw something embarrassing for me. Now I have to see something embarrassing of you."
Yeah, with that, she whips out her cell phone. She's gonna take blackmail photos. She's like, "What?" But no, they decide to. They go into her room and they're talking about it, and she's saying like how she's into drawing that kind of manga and the erotica and everything like that. And she starts talking about like now she's starting to kind of write herself into it, but she can't draw a breast unless she sees them in person. Course. And so Kirara decides that she's going to pose naked to be drawn to help Sora out. And then she grabs up into sheet and everything, and all of a sudden she's like, "Yeah, this is good." And she says, "Here, hold this." And she grabs the fucking recorder and just like shoves it out. She's like, "What do you want me to do with that?" And she's like, "This is the scene where," and then it cuts to like an erotic manga, the way it's drawn.
So I think she read her own manga.
Yeah, she does. And yeah, it cuts to like an erotic manga, it's no longer an anime. It looks like somebody held up a sheet of a manga, and you follow, and she's in there talking. It's what's going on in real life, but not really at the same time. Like she's in there helping pose, and then it has like Redo sitting in the next room, like you have her in there posing naked in the next room, and you think I can't hold myself back? Well, there's no holding back. And then he's supposed to come barging through the door. And in actuality, this is what happens, and he slips on the recorder somehow, and the recorder bounces.
Yeah, and he goes along with it somehow, and like it's like on his chin, almost in his mouth.
No, it's in his mouth.
In his mouth, and then it's like right up against the gray hair's boobs.
Like, in between her boobs, and if you pay attention, you hear it go, whoo, like he blows in it. Because when the first time I watched it, I'm like, what? And I had to back it up. I'm like, I want to make sure I heard that. So yeah, that happens, and then obviously Kirara gets upset.
Hits him.
Mm-hmm. And next...
So, I want to make a hint. Every episode, except for one, he gets hit.
Yeah. So the next thing that we end up cutting to is because there's an alarm that goes off, and it's the manga store.
Yeah.
So it shows the manga store, and there's one of the bugs from the beginning. It's there, and its ability seems to be like send out like all these little spiders, and they go over and they're eating the books and everything like that.
I think she's the censor bug, like the censor alien, because she says censor.
Oh, maybe.
Because like she's like censor it, and then they go after the weird manga.
Okay. I must not have caught that part. But yeah, so that happens, all the spiders are around, and then, there's, like, the clerk of the store, she's there, and she falls down, and she's kind of,
like, she's scared.
Yeah, she's scared, and then, Kirara runs over to help the store clerk, and,
there's, like, since there's 5 of them, 2 of them went to go help the civilians.
Yeah.
And I think it's the purple hair and the other one with the long hair.
Mazoda.
Yeah. So they're going to help the civilians out, while the other 3 go rushing into the store.
Yeah, alright, that's what happened. And then we get to see Redo, he punches a couple of spiders, loses his shirt.
Yeah. And then the little alien thing was like, attack him!
Yeah.
And then she's like running off.
And so we end up Redo follows her, and then we have Sora who says this is her favorite store, these are her favorite books and everything, and then we get to see her power, and her power is badass. Yeah. I think she's my favorite character.
You think?
I think so. Like, one, because I find her awkward and funny that way, but her power, dude.
She has her H energy is she sprouts out wings.
Yeah, they're blue angel wings, and she shoots projectiles and starts just one-hitting all these spiders around.
Yeah. And then the blonde hair girl who I guess hasn't really figured out her power yet.
No, I think she knows what her power is. I think her power is brute strength, but she doesn't. She's not indulging her H energy like everybody else. So that's why she even says a comment like, "I don't know how to use it yet." But that's just because she's not allowing herself to build it up. She's not used to any of it yet.
And I like what the gray-haired girl said. Because the yellow-haired girl goes, wow, that, I didn't know you can grow wings. And she said, you can form, if you can imagine it, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you can just you can change your H energy is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If you imagine it, then it'll come true.
Yeah, and then you have Sora, she shoots all those things, and she even says, like, this might be too many bugs for me.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Kirara helping the bookstore lady, and she turns around to say that to Sora, and the bookstore lady injects Kirara in the neck with this, like, blue serum.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was like, what the fuck? I didn't see that part coming.
Yeah.
But now, like, thinking back, it showed 3 monsters in the beginning that said they were going to work together. We saw 2 of them. Yeah. It would make sense, but this bookstore clerk, she looked completely human.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking that they can adapt their skin to fit in without you even noticing.
See, that would make sense.
And that's why I'm very curious to see what the blue hair girl is.
Yeah. Like I said, there are things about her that, I don't know. There's something. So they kidnap Kirara and they take her back to the Queen.
Well, like before that, I want to improvise. The gray hair girl, like Redo just defeated the monster. He's naked, okay? She comes out with clips, but I think she's sitting on him because it points down to his crotch area.
Yeah.
So and it turns red, and I'm like, he's turned on right now.
Very awkward time for that.
Yeah. Because they're both naked.
Yeah, she has Kirara's clips and everything, and she's like, she doesn't really say what happens. She just says, like, Redo, and then she shows the clips, and then, the crotch thing. And then it cuts back to the girls getting ready, shows all of them getting dressed, and, it
shows like the one that got away with that third alien going back to the Queen.
Yeah, and saying like that she captured the weakest one of the HxEros, and
and now we can get more of them.
Yeah, and she even says like they're gonna have to come save her, so we'll take them out when they get here. But that was all right. So hold on before I run into those thoughts. It ends with Redo saying like, "Hold on, Kirara," or Mahame, or whatever her name is. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
Then the outro plays, and that is the episode 4, Snow White and the Color of the Sky. So. One thing I want to talk about with the show is this show, to me, has a very good storytelling aspect to it, because if you think about a lot of the harem animes, they're not really known for their story.
Yeah.
But this one, to me, it has a very interesting story. The way the story is being told.
True.
Because her getting captured early on, that's not something I would expect until later on in the series. That one of them being captured.
Yeah.
And just like the character development and everything like that, I don't know, the storytelling to me is very interesting. But yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to kind of talk about, was just I guess just the way that the show is being done. I'm just surprised by it.
Yeah. I think they're doing a good job. We're going to be... The next episode is episode 5, so we're almost halfway there.
Episode 5 is called HxEros Rising. And there's 12 episodes in this series, so we're almost halfway. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode?
It was HxEros Rising.
Yeah.
So they're basically going to try to find the blonde-haired girl, so they're probably going to come up with a plan and rise together to save her.
I got a feeling this is where we're going to see someone's, like, true power. I think I got a feeling we're gonna see like Kirara like what her real ability is or something.
I'm gonna say wrong.
Okay, we'll see.
Cause I'm gonna say Redo because he took his love.
Yeah, all right, that would make sense.
And him seeing her captured and being tortured, I see he's gonna show his true power and just try to save her.
All right.
Because you see in the intro in this one, well, it looked like they were about to kiss.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna happen.
You think it's gonna happen in episode 5?
Well, maybe if he saves her, and at the ending it'll be like a little hint of a kiss, and then it'll cut to
maybe
the credits.
Or either that, or else somebody be like, "Redo, no!" And like in most animes, when there's about to be a kiss between the leader of the harem and like one of the main girls who has their affection, like somebody's always breaks it up. But all right, so that'll wrap up episode 4, and hopefully we will see you again on episode 5. HxEros Rising. HxEros Rising. I gotta used to saying that.
Have a good one, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Failure to Log Out podcast.
If you like what you heard, give us a like and don't forget to subscribe.
We are on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and YouTube. If you could leave us a review, it helps out a lot.
You can also check me out on the Platform Podcast every Saturday on Twitch and YouTube.
And you can also check me out on the Lunch After Dark podcast, and we're anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're going to be there. With that being said, we'll see you next time.